I'm willing to bet that quite a few mums unwrapped a cookbook this morning, and there are thousands to choose from nowadays, but I reckon you can't beat the classics. Those wonderful books by Australia's original master chefs, Margaret Fulton, Maggie Beer and Stephanie Alexander. Those queens of the kitchen were serving up gourmet meals when the current crop of celebrity chefs were still cutting their teeth on rusks and cooing over stewed apple. All those years later, as I discovered, their recipe for success hasn't changed one little bit.
Now, Charlie, when you're cutting, curl your fingers. What happens?
I know how to chop an onion. I would never go on MasterChef, but I did think I knew my way around a kitchen just a little.
You're like a lot of men, you just think you know everything. Come on, curl your fingers.
Till I found myself a mere kitchen hand under the instruction of Australia's Queen of Cooking, Margaret Fulton.
You can just go quick. Pretend you're Gordon Ramsay. Oh.
So I was pretending I was Gordon Ramsay.
That's naughty. Yeah.
Now 87, Margaret has watched Australia evolve from the land of meat and 3 veg into a multicultural smorgasbord. I remember this. I'd have had that on toast. It was 1968 when she shocked Australians by revealing spaghetti didn't come out of a can. And in her original cookbook, introduced us to an exotic dish called spaghetti bolognese. This is your classic cookbook, was my first cookbook. In a sense, it defined the kitchen lives of all of us.
And I think that's the lovely thing about real home values. I don't think they ever go out of fashion, just like my book. When you look through it, it's quite modern for today, and yet it was written nearly 50 years ago.
I see people toss salads very gaily. I saw Lucille Ball do it in a movie once. You know, she was in a caravan and it looked such fun. But I thought, that poor salad, you know, what will happen to it?
Born in Scotland but raised in rural New South Wales, Margaret first made her name as food editor of Woman's Day throughout the 60s. She was a culinary explorer, venturing forth into the world to unearth the kitchen secrets of housewives from Morocco to Mexico.
When my editor would say, we want 101 ways with mincemeat, I could do that. It wasn't just rissoles. It was because I'd seen what the Mexicans do, I'd seen what the Germans do, the Italians do with mincemeat, so I could draw on the world.
All soda bread, chocolate muffins.
Margaret, don't say I never take you out.
Oh, you have the beesting. Beesting is very nice.
French, Turkish, Lebanese. Now the world has come to us.
And this is char-grilled eggplants.
Thanks to Margaret, we're no longer afraid to try dishes we can't pronounce.
The name is gözleme.
Gözleme?
It's a Turkish dish.
I cooked from your cookbook on Thursday and everything was perfect.
For 3 generations, this tiny dynamo has pioneered big changes in the way we eat.
That's a French triple cream.
Oh, no, she can't have that. I cannot kill off a national icon.
I just wanted to bring you some of our gourmet olives.
Another major milestone.
They're hand-stuffed from imported from Greece. And
Margaret took olive oil out of the medicine cabinet and into the kitchen.
You see, olive oil used to be used to buy it from Fauldings. The travelling man that went around Fauldings who brought medical things to you. And then that was oil.
And you put it in, it was warmed and put in your ear when you were a kid.
Oh,
and you had
yes, I know.
Earache.
That first crush of oil just transports you like you wouldn't believe.
And how things change and how far we've come. Wandering through one of probably thousands now of Australian olive groves with another cooking legend, Maggie Beer.
We Australian olive growers, you know, it's much bit. We're a drop in the ocean. We only have 1,000 trees, but it's something we should be so proud of.
You like spruiking Australian stuff, don't you?
I do.
Abundant with nature's harvest, the Barossa Valley in South Australia is where Maggie Beer got lucky. She married a pheasant farmer at a time when chicken was the only bird you'd ever put in the oven. The males are much more attractive, aren't they?
Oh, only once in your life you can say that.
The point about all this huge Maggie Beer empire is it started with a pheasant.
It started with a pheasant and with Colin's vision of farming pheasants that led it to everything we've done.
Can I take a photo with you?
Yes, of course.
From a few flighty pheasants to an award-winning restaurant, it's been quite a gastronomic journey.
This is the new season.
Today, Maggie Beer is a household name. She's had her own television show and she heads up a $10 million gourmet food business. How did you get the idea, or instead of having to feed people who came to you, that you could market your tucker all over the country and they would eat it at home?
Well, it wasn't a grand plan, believe you me. It was a transitional one step in front of the other, and it took 20 years to be an overnight success.
Your quince paste is everywhere, your pâtés are everywhere. They give me your ice cream on Qantas in the middle of the night.
Love that, love that.
I'm a bit tempted by the black pudding book.
Yes, well, it's a bit of an effort to make the black pudding. First, find your blood.
And so to the third course on my celebrity menu, acclaimed cooking writer Stephanie Alexander. Cooking and travelling in southwest France. You've had a great life. Well, you still have.
Well, I must say, it's a pretty good interest to have, isn't it?
25 years ago, Stephanie wrote a book called The Cook's Companion. Another volume followed, but to this day, the original remains Australia's Kitchen Bible. They're great books.
They are, and they're really my key to freedom and my key to being able to follow my passion. And what have you been cooking with those?
We've been cooking.
Stephanie's passion is now the future.
Have you roasted any of them at any time?
Teaching kids the connection between the veggie patch and the dinner plate. Instead of fast food, slow food that ripens with the seasons.
Okay, that'll do. Beautiful. Now we cut this off, and what you're going to do is grate this now, okay?
Stephanie started the Kitchen Garden Foundation 10 years ago, and with almost missionary zeal, the program has grown to 150 schools, including these students at Bertram Primary in Perth.
It's disturbing to me to see a generation of young Australians growing up eating how can I put this politely? Eating a limited range of food and often prepared by somebody else, fast food. And I just felt very strongly, and still do, that this can be changed. I'm going to cut an eggplant, one of the last of the season.
Stephanie practices what she preaches. Her veggie patch is found unconventionally in the front yard of her inner city Melbourne home.
And then I think we should collect some basil to make some pesto. In they go.
From the garden to the table, she shows me just how easy it is to make your own pesto.
This is, of course, the real Parmigiana.
I think, hey presto, is pesto. Do we live in a potentially great age of cooking?
I think in Australia there's really a great interest in food through the popular culture.
The time's ticking, you've got 1 minute to go.
On the face of it, you'd think we'd become a nation of gourmets and food critics. Everywhere you look, the kitchen has become theatre and chefs are its stars.
Where's my cutters? Where's my cutters? Come on, Nick.
I must say I'm a bit of a cynic. I'm not necessarily convinced that people go home and cook these beautiful things. I think much of it is viewed as entertainment and reacted to as entertainment, and is not likely to change behaviour. We still have a great number of people who aren't interested and who do opt for convenience more often than not. And I worry enormously about their children.
Right, now I put the pheasant in.
Maggie Beer knows real cooking takes time.
With
I
the
don't
pheasant.
recognise him. Was he the one we saw with his plumage?
No, that would be too much.
And these days, that's one ingredient no one has enough of.
You've got two people in a household so busy in their lives, they take shortcuts because food isn't really important to them. That's what we need to change. I would rather go hungry than have something that's junk, really.
Look at the green asparagus.
We'll get some of that.
A lot of people who buy takeaway food think it's easier to do that, and the kids love it. They don't realise that they won't be sitting here like I am at 87, still perky.
Oh, and who do we have here? Margaret Fulton. She's rather taller than I imagined. She is. She's about 5'11". In fact, Margaret remains so perky that she's become the face of Woolworths. You've grown in stature since you've become a corporate person.
That's right, yes. Hello.
Deep breath in, lift your arms up, breathing in.
While New Age yoga keeps us strong, there's a fine old Scottish tradition that really keeps us sprightly. I love your theory of longevity, that it comes from having porridge in the morning and whiskey at night.
Well, my father did it and his father did it.
My dad did that too.
And I'm still here, and Dad died at 95.
I read your autobiography and it's mainly about sex and food. In which order, I'm not sure.
Well, sex is important, and when sex isn't around, you can always fly to food. That's what I say. It was a week of sheer indulgence in which the First Ladies of Food had their way with me.
As it comes out, I just splash it with a little bit of verjuice.
It may have been a case of too many cooks, but I was a pushover. I feel like I'm in secret territory here, Stephanie's kitchen. How many ways can I show how happy I am? I'd learned that true cooking isn't about putting on a show. Our real master chefs do it for the pleasure. Always from the heart, brilliant, and always with love. I'm not surprised that it's perfect. Does it surprise you that 3 women have made such a difference? No, women always knew they were a very superior race of people. No, it all stems from loving food and loving life and loving family and people.
Hello, I'm Adam Hegarty. Thanks for watching 60 Minutes Australia. Subscribe to our channel now for brand new stories and exclusive clips every week. And don't miss out on our extra minute segments and full episodes of 60 Minutes on 9now.com.au and the 9Now app.